N.
And welcome to the GiddyUp Podcast, Season 2, Episode 8. My name is JT and I am joined by a very smooth-looking triple world champion, Don Elgin. Welcome, Donnie.
Oh, JT, I tell you what, mate, it's one of those days where I feel like if I went out in public, I'd probably have people ask me if I could wear a mask. I've shaved into my very best mustache for November, and seriously, it's not really doing much for me.
Nah, mate, you're coming up a treat. I reckon I could see you on a Harley or something, mate, with that look. For those who are watching, of course, live on Facebook, g'day. And if you're tuning in later on, we know lots of people actually watch us on Catch Up on Facebook, or of course, you're listening to us on YouTube. On YouTube. That will be next week. You listen to us on the usual podcast. So we've got Apple Podcasts. What else have we got? Spotify. You name it. We're pretty much everywhere these days.
JT, iTunes, the lot, mate. There's probably some sort of Wi-Fi thing that we're on that we don't even know about too, knowing you, the gadget guru.
Mate, I tell you what, now for those who are listening and know me well, you know, and Donnie yourself, you know I love my electronics, right? So there is no bigger time of the year, Donnie, than Black Friday. There are sales everywhere now. The retail, of course, they've just hijacked it, and there's bloody retail sales everywhere. But this thing was born in electronics, and there is pretty much just half price off, you name it, every bit of gadget, software. So I'm having a field day, mate.
So you have been shopping, haven't you, JT?
Oh, the credit card's taken a couple of whacks, I tell you.
Okay. And now tell me this sort of stuff. So given it's an IT sort of space, Is it the sort of stuff that you've got instantly, or do you still have to wait like the punters and just get a snail mail delivered to you?
Some of the stuff, obviously, with products, you've just got to wait for it to be delivered. But a lot of stuff, we've had a few upgrades on the GiddyUp podcast. So there's a few new text overlays and sort of background. We're building a couple of new websites, so we've decided to download some stuff now while we can. So yeah, it's all been happening, mate. It's exciting times.
Mate, it's been a big week, but one thing that's funny, you're talking about all these upgrades and fancy stuff, and I see that you are still trapped in the bloody dungeon, mate. So I'm hoping that you might get an upgrade in your venue one day. You'll be looking out over a beautiful vista. But
mate, stay tuned we can only hope. But for now, I'll just milk the green screen that I've got at the moment, of course. So, but the office has had a big upgrade. We've got new lighting and a new desk, which I'm using today to switch all the vision like this to 1 and 2 spots, all manual now. Buttons and everything. It's all very flash, mate. So now we could crap on about Black Friday. Well, I could forever, but I'm guessing the punters want to know some of the weird, wacky stuff that we've got going on, of course. And Don, we have got a lot of stuff, so let's get into it.
Weird, wonderful, and wacky.
Oh, I love that. That's my favourite little jingle, that one. I don't know about you, Donnie. What's your favourite?
Oh, mate, I reckon the start of the show that it just gets me really
gets you up and going.
And I love so much, JT. I love it when people write in answers written in and just give me a little nod. Well, I think it's a nod for the moustache, so I'm going to take it. Anyone who says anything about it, I'm going to take it as a compliment, and I appreciate it. So
go your hardest, people. I'm on the button. Go your hardest. No, it does look actually really good. And, of course, if you are listening live, we always throw in a couple of things for our listeners, Donnie. So before we get into this segment, the usual stuff, we've got the big wheel again. So we've got a code word, Donnie. If people hear the code word, what have you got for them tonight?
Well, mate, the secret code word, well, it's not a bloody secret, I'm about to tell everyone.
Dun.
The code word is pilot. So what happens, JT, is when I say pilot, or actually you might even say it, but one of us will say it. And when we say it, you've just got to just jump on the keyboard, send into the comments your, just say pilot, and then we'll whack you on the wheel, and that spins at the end of the show. And I tell you what, we have had some cracking prizes given out for the code word, so that's been good. Tradie.com, geez, they've got some good gear, mate.
They bloody look after us, don't they?
Jacket tonight, I'm wearing that. It's a very comfy undies to lot, mate.
Oh, you're looking very comfy.
Good. And of course, Tom M. Haven't we got some good gear from Tom M?
Tom M, of course, one of our regular sponsors. So we've got another great prize again. I'm going to give you the honour again tonight, Donnie, for selecting our winner. So the best contributor to the show can be comments, it can be a question, it can be a joke, it can be anything. We'll keep an eye out and we will announce that at the end of the show. So, Donnie, sorry, mate, yeah, go.
my final thing is there's a few calls about Chopper Read with this. I just checked the ears. I've still got them. So it's definitely Don Elgin, not Chopper Read.
Yeah, you are looking like a pretty dodgy character, I got to say. But all right. So now, look, I want to sort of get into our first weird and wacky thing. Now, Donnie, you know I'm an animal lover, and
yes, we
it's
do.
fair to say that I am pretty against, hunting and animal cruelty and all those sorts of things, right? So,
True story.
Yep, true story. So one of the things I love is when, people are out hunting, it doesn't quite go to plan, Don.
Well, JT, if I told you about this, you have to hear this, because if I told you, right, that there was a deer, and a deer had a gun, and what would you be thinking?
Hold up, a deer had a gun.
Well, you're thinking like, a deer's got a gun, right? So straight away you're thinking Crocodile Dundee, when Mick Dundee's got the bloody kangaroo, he's got the gun under there. Well, this is what happens, right? These deer hunters, they go out there hunting, right? And this deer shat itself and ran straight at these hunters, and got spooked, right?
Yep.
He didn't grab it, he just lifted up the old antlers, lifted up the head, and the strap of the gun, of the 22, got caught on the antlers, and the deer pissed off with it, and there's a gun on top of its head.
Yeah, go you little deer.
That's the sort of stuff we like. How funny is this? The hunter, he's had to report it to police, and so he's reported that to the police, and of course it's been at the time there was no ammunition in it either, which is very good.
That's good. Yep.
Yeah, so they did go looking for it, couldn't find it, so there's a deer on the loose with a gun. But no ammo at this stage.
I scoured the internet, Donnie. I thought we've got to have footage of this, but of course these guys are out hunting and the surveillance and all that sort of stuff. There was no way there was ever going to be a photo. But
Surely
Donnie,
not.
well, Donnie, we get the scoops for our viewers and our listeners, and we've got the scoop right now. I notice my video looks like it's frozen. That's awkward. But we do have the scoop, so I'm going to show you this scoop right now. Have a look at this. Ready? Here we go. There it is, Donnie.
There it is. We've got it. I think the gun has been sort of slightly souped up a little bit.
Don't know what you're talking about, Donnie. That is an absolute photo. That is no photoshopping going on there whatsoever.
Pretty sure it's a 22 versus AK-47. But anyway, no, that's bloody good, JT. There's nothing you can't do with your Black Friday sales.
Don't want to hear it. It's nothing at all. Oh, look at me. I'm all bloody frozen up. We'll get back to me in a second.
JT.
Oh, mate, well, it's probably the best thing. People don't want to look at me anyway. I would have thought.
They do, mate. It's either you frozen or me Chopper Read. So take your pick. I think they'll take the frozen you.
Now, I want you to tell me about, Donnie, this next story here, mate, because, is it fair to say, again, nature versus humans, and, I want to say nature often has its way.
What are we going with, JT? Remind me. Because I haven't got a bloody clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, fantastic. Now. All right. So there was a guy in this is in Minnesota, right? And there was a guy who was cutting down a tree. Now, of course.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, yes, now I love my trees, as you know, Don, and I'm sort of feeling for the trees. Now, again, look, sometimes trees find it a bit hard to fight back. I mean, I'm guessing that, when you've got a big, what do you call them, saw or electronic saw or something. It's hard for trees to fight back. They don't have branches and leaves and all that sort of stuff to hit back with. However, there was a guy that, said this guy in Minnesota, he was chopping down trees in the backyard, and, as he was chopping it down, he kind of stuffed it up, and the tree fell on him.
And JT, when a tree falls on you,
the
one thing you can guarantee is that tree ain't getting back up, mate. So.
That's right. It's exactly right. And so you would think this is going to be a bit of a problem. I'm back now, by the way. It was going to be a bit of a problem. Now, obviously, when a tree falls on a human, probably not going to end well sometimes. But this is a little bit different, this story, and this is why I thought we had to bring you some footage of this. Now,
footage?
Because, here's the aftermath of what happened. Now, you can see there's some clothes and bits and pieces there, and the good news is he didn't die. We wouldn't want to wish ill on anyone. But what was unique about this story, Donnie, is it took 4 days to find him.
Holy crap.
So he was stuck.
JT, how does someone go missing for 4 days? Like, what
Well, he was in his own
Surely
backyard. He lived out in the bush, and he'd cut it down. And it was only when the sheriff's department was notified that he didn't show up for his teaching job 2 days in a row that they thought something's not right, and they sent someone around to his property. And that's when they found him. And he was an Iraqi war veteran, and he'd been surviving off insects, plants, sweat, and lucky for him, some rainwater just coming down for the 100 hours he was stuck. So thankfully his hands were mobile. And he was able to cover his head with his shirt to protect himself from bugs while he was sleeping and stuff. So, amazing survival story, really, when you think about it. And
mate, that's a ripper.
Yeah, it's not bad. And as I said, good news, he did survive and no loss, even though he had 2 broken legs, which is so it did bloody hurt. But no amputation needed. And here's a photo of him. This was pre the accident, but that's him and his son.
Which one?
The guy on the right was the guy that had the tree land on him.
Mate.
So so it made a pretty good story of survival.
What do they call him now? Chip?
You can come up with a few names. Chip's a good one. I don't mind that one at all. Chip, we'll call him Chip from now on, has survived. And, good on you, Chip. Now in Russia, things go a little bit crazy sometimes in Russia. We've had some good footage, haven't we, Donnie, over the years of some Russian stuff.
The tank work over there.
Yeah, good tank driving a couple of episodes ago. But,
at the airport, didn't you?
That's right. Went straight through the airport. Had a few little beverages before he jumped in and drove the tank and through a fence. But, they're at it again, Donnie.
Oh, the Russians. Well, JT, I tend to, when I go doing some research for our show, I say that loosely, by the way, but I tend to look out for some, and normally you can find it in Russia. What I found is that there's a budget airline over there, right?
Yep.
Aeroflot.
Aeroflot.
Old mate decided, the Captain Courageous, he decided that he was going to cut a lap because, there's all these apps and stuff so you can track where the flight goes.
Yeah. The flight tracker app, yeah.
Yeah, and so he's decided that he'd fly a shape. He'd fly a shape sort of like a, in a bit of a, how shall we say, like a male appendage, JT.
Right.
He's literally done the map. So people have said, oh, geez, if you're a pilot.
Why would he do this out of interest, Don?
Well, he's probably practical joker. He's a budget airline, so he's, he's probably, not flying for Qantas. So he's just probably, I don't know why he did it, maybe a couple of bevies or something with his mates and decided, hey, keep an eye on flight tracker and I'll take this 102 passengers and we'll do 11 manoeuvres and I reckon I can shape it up and see what it comes up with. Well,
of course, if you're watching, you get the privilege of having a look at this now. If you're listening, you just might have to tune in later. But here's the flight path. Now you can draw your own conclusions of maybe what that image is trying to represent. Doesn't take a lot to work it out, really, Donnie. But as per usual, mate, I love how you just go the extra mile for research, Donnie, with our viewers. And this is put down to a drunk pilot because if you'd actually read the rest of the story, it was in the run sheet, Donnie.
I was getting to that.
It was actually a protest, Donnie. Was it? It was a gesture of public support for a soccer star who'd been dropped from the Russian national team after the leak of a private intimate video featuring a man that looked very similar to him. And so they dropped him from the side and everyone was pissed off because he was one of their good players. So the pilot decided to do a little protest in the air. That's what was behind the story.
Well, there's me saying that it's a little couple of bevies. Nothing to do with that at all, JT. It's a bloody political stand. I like that for a soccer team. There is no greater reason to fly a map of, I love it, mate. That's what the world needs. People like that making a stand. It's great.
Well, speaking of making a stand on, our next story is, again, another animal story here. But those squirrels, how beautiful they are, Don. Very cute if you ever watch squirrels. They have little hands and little paws and the way they eat their little nuts. All very cute.
Like chipmunks, isn't it?
Yeah, little chipmunks, yeah, like that. But, you know how when you leave stuff in the fridge like pears and that sort of stuff, they can ferment, right? And what happens when things ferment, right? It becomes alcoholic.
Alcoholic, yep.
Oh, guess what happens when said drunk squirrel eats pear that's been fermented, Donnie? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, you know what?
Piss squirrels on the go.
Oh, we have piss squirrels. And, of course, I could talk about it all you like, but you just got to watch this stuff. Now, we'll talk our friends through it. You can see one here. He's just had a little bite. He's struggling to stand upright there. Look at him.
Definition of tipsy, mate.
Look at him. He's nearly gone.
He's
and he's got, hang on.
nut.
Oh, wait for it. No, he's going to come back. This is a comeback. He's just thinking about falling. Oh, here we go. He's back. He's struggling a bit. Now, you'd think at that point, he goes, shit, I better stop eating this stuff. And I'm just really not going too well.
Oh, JT, anyone who's listening to this, I kid you not, you've got to go back.
It's worth tuning in for the footage, right?
This is bloody hilarious. Well done.
And he still keeps munching away. Yeah, he's going to stuff it. I'm still going for this. This is fun. Whee! Yeah, so there you go. Mate, drunk squirrels. We could watch that for hours. I bloody love that.
Yeah, now you've got me. When you say squirrels are cute, that's all I'll ever see from now on.
Now, continuing on with our animal theme so far tonight, which seems to be just about every week, but because they just provide so much entertainment, right? So with this one, well, there's a guy that's it's hard to put this into words, right? But this is a guy who in Thailand. Now things have been tough in Thailand, obviously, and we've got a couple of our regular listeners coming over from Thailand. So g'day, shout out to you guys there that are listening. But the monkeys, Donnie, they've been having a hard time. You know, tourists are down.
A few weeks back, didn't we? We talked about them in the bloody cages, the coconuts and stuff.
Oh, that's right. They made slave labour and.
They're copping it again, JT.
Oh, well, you know what? Someone decided that we need to do something good for these monkeys, Don, because they've had such a hard time. And he thought, well, you know what? Music can be great for so many things. Why not play some classical music for the monkeys that are at a temple as a way to just calm them down? Because they're getting a little bit out of hand, the monkeys. They're getting a bit crazy, lack of tourists and lack of food and all this sort of stuff. So this guy has decided that he would go out and save the world. Now, again, we've got a bit of video here, and just have a look at how this goes, Donnie. This is, well, let's just say it goes really, really well. Where are we? Monkeys. Here we go. There we go. So you can see him here just playing away. There's a few monkeys have come to watch. They're enjoying the show. But what do you reckon?
That's one of my favourite songs.
Oh, isn't it beautiful? I can play the first part of that too.
Oh no, mate, there's not much you can do. That's very... Well, they're turning the page for him.
Yeah, isn't that very helpful? So there you go. Look, beautiful little monkeys. Now, I thought, you know what, that's really cute and that's nice. I thought the guy's a bit nuts, but he's actually been doing this for quite a while, and it turns out that for 10 years he's been going to an elephant sanctuary and doing the same thing for elephants as a way to actually just calm them down. And hopefully he's thinking was that they would appreciate the classical music. So what a good guy. He's just out there just doing his thing, just trying to help the animals feel a little bit better.
Mate, he could have found his way into bloody Hero of the Week at this rate, JT. That's sensational stuff. We like that.
I actually thought about that, and funny comment there from Brankia, because those monkeys have stolen a hat, and everyone else who's been to Thailand, you've got to hang on to your bloody stuff over there, don't you? Same in Bali's, on it.
They were distracting him so one could pick his wallet and the other one take his watch while he's playing.
I reckon if he kept playing, no doubt the monkeys would have worked out how to scam it, I'm sure, because they're pretty smart little buggers, aren't they? Now, keeping on with animals again. It's not always that animals are used for good things, Don. And well, in Japan, they like to do things a little bit different over in Japan, don't they?
Well, they've got a bit of a thing for whales and stuff, and some pandas, JT.
There's pandas as well. We're going to talk about pandas very shortly, but it turns out that they're having a few problems with bears over in Japan.
What have they done with the bears, JT? Surely not. Because we had a bear on the show last week.
We did, and these bears are starting to come into the neighbourhoods, and obviously, bears and humans, probably not a good mix. And, the officials have said, you know what, we need to do something about this. And so what they've done, Donnie, is they've done something about it. And I just want to show you a clip here about their amazing solution.
Have you got some footage? Of course you've got some footage.
Of course I've got some footage. Have a look at this, Donnie.
You've got the footage guru right here.
You're not going to believe this, but...
what is that?
This, my friend, is a robot wolf.
And what's it do? Holy shit, it's scary.
It's being used to scare the bears away, Don. And it comes with lots of different noises, about 60 different sounds that they've loaded into it. And
is it like mother-in-law feature on there or something? No.
So it's actually called the very creative name, the Monster Wolf. They've decided to call it, Don, the Monster Wolf.
The Monster Wolf,
right? Monster Wolf, yep. And
JT,
basically,
I'm watching that footage.
It's incredible, isn't it?
And I'm not seeing any bears, mate. So I'm putting
there
that
you
down
go.
to its
There's one there running away.
He shot through.
Yeah, because what they've done, mate, is they've actually loaded it with what do you call it? With what's the word? Motion detection. So it's actually senses when a bear comes near, and then it fires up and goes, "Rawr," and does all its bloody does all.
How's
its,
it go?
Rawr, like it's I know it's pretty bloody impressive. I'm going to go back to our 2-person screen. I've completely stuffed up my my video here. So there we go.
Look at you go.
Mate, I've completely buggered everything up on the.
Look, there we go. That's our Black Friday screen.
My camera just keeps bloody going away. I just can't bloody help it. There we go. Hang on. I'll just stuff it all up. Doesn't matter. Mate, as long as you're there.
While you're playing around the cameras.
Yeah.
One's black, by the way.
Yeah. I'm fixing it. Wrong way around. There we go.
Is that the people have, like, even the motion detection sort of stuff like that. That's just smart. That's it means that then the bears aren't becoming immune to it, and so they're very clever.
That's what I thought. Very, very clever. And yeah, I know, hot self. Now, you did mention, of course, pandas, mate.
Well, the pandas, JT, I'm always fascinated to how people are coping with COVID. And if anyone's going to be coping with COVID, it's pandas, because they like to eat out.
They do, yep.
And there's a restaurant. It's now full of bloody pandas, JT. They've just taken over the joint.
Oh,
can you explain,
mate? Well, everyone loves pandas, and so basically, this guy in Germany's decided, this whole pandemic. Yeah, you're getting the link, pandemic.
Look at you go. You'll be on the GiddyUp podcast next.
So he's just gone, you know what? Bloody hell, I'm going to make the most of these panda things, and I'm going to open up a panda restaurant. So this is what he's come up with. This is literally a restaurant in here. Now, it's very cute. He's fitted it out. He's just bought all these pandas.
Holy crap.
And sat them at the tables, and it is now a panda restaurant because he can't open. So he thought, bugger it, got to do something. So here's his little protest, having a panda restaurant.
It looks like a couple of them on it. Like, it's got sunnies on. I love it, mate. I reckon if he was really smart, there we go. Couple having a cold one. It's beautiful. I reckon if he actually, that's awesome. And you could easily imagine a restaurateur, how many different characters they would see come through, and being able to create that panda into here's the pissed one, here's the
absolutely right, absolutely.
Yes, I like it. That's a great. And word on the street is he's leaving the lights on 24/7, so people can just see the whole exhibition, the whole lot.
Exactly right. That's what we love to see. So now the last thing we want to leave you with in our weird, wacky, and wonderful segment, Donnie, is just something to put a bit of a smile on your dial. We got this footage of let's just say a dog having a good time, and don't we all love dogs when they're having a good time, right?
Well, JT, what's not to like about a dog having a good time? What's not to like about anyone having a good time? Now, what I want to see, because when you say dog having a good time, usually it conjures up a different image than
don't
I
go
have.
there,
So
Donnie, don't go there.
Different take on this story. What have you got?
Here we go. And special thanks to Nant. Nant's the one who spotted this one. So here we go. Yeah, check out this little dog. He's just going up the stairs, as you can see, and he's going up to the top of a big slide, Donnie, and down he goes down the slide. Look at this, having a ball. Now you think, that's a bit cruel, poor bloody bugger. He doesn't want to do that. Oh, yes, he does, because he's going back again and saying, I am going up again. Off he goes.
Mate, that is sensational. I like how he's jumped the queue too, straight underneath the fence there, up the stairs,
and,
around the big... That's bloody great advertising. Where's that, JT?
No, I have no idea, Don.
Is it actually a pet park, or is it for humans and a pet's just funny?
I think a pet decided... Yeah, I think a pet decided it was just for him. So, cute little dog. So thanks, Nat, for sending that one in. If anyone else sees any great footage, make sure you send it in to us now, because we will, of course, give it a bit of a run.
And there's fair chance might win prizes too, JT.
Oh, we love giving away prizes, don't we?
That's the sort of stuff that happens, mate, on this show.
Mate, very, very, very true. All right. Well, it's that time, Donnie, when we talk Geek of the Week stuff.
Now, JT, we've often just sort of taken a bit of the piss out of you being geeky, but what you've done is you've actually changed lives. Like, you've given real great advice, great tips, except for that bloody double tap on the back of your phone one. I've still got 4.6 million screenshots.
You can change it to triple tap though, Donnie. You can change it to triple tap. There you go. That might cut it down if you're doing it accidentally.
After all this, you tell me that. Right. What do you got this week, JT?
Well, I thought this one was sort of interesting in a couple of ways. It's Microsoft. Now, look, I'm an Apple person, as you know, so any chance to smash Microsoft, I'm going to take it. And here's one. They gave me a free shot. They've come up with this new thing called a productivity score. Now, I'm just going to play the video. It's only a 30-second video or so, just to sort of set the scene a little bit for everyone. So let me just play this.
So this really starts with being aware of how your organization works and how technology is an enabler of productivity. And in a world of digital everything, this just isn't IT's job any longer. It's everyone's job. So today, many organizations have individuals or teams dedicated to helping people leverage technology to make it easier to get work done. And Productivity Score is a tool that gives them one place for end-to-end visibility. It includes insights, peer benchmarks, and actions they can take to help the people in their organization be more productive. Pretty exciting stuff.
Now, you're probably going, what the hell does all that mean, Don? In short, basically what they've got is this productivity score where they're analysing how people are using their teams, like their video chat, their messaging service stuff, and trying to determine how productive a meeting is, right? And the idea is they can sort of go, we can see that, X amount of people tuned in to this particular meeting, X amount of messages were sent. This is how many times someone's logged into their calendar and all that sort of stuff, right? So it's big picture, if you like, looking at productivity. And straight away at that point, you're like, I don't know if I like that. But what I really wanted to bring to the attention of our listeners, Don, is they've gone one step further and they've lodged a patent for something that they're calling overall quality scores for meetings. And I've just happened to get my hands on the actual patent itself, and I'm going to put this up on our screen here. But I'll talk through people if you're just listening to this and you can't see it.
About this, Jake,
but basically what it does is it's a meeting insight computing system. So what it's doing through cameras and sensors in a meeting room, what it's doing is it's looking at data such as body language, facial expressions, room temperature, time of day, how many people are in the meeting, etc. And it's also looking, and here's the killer, looking at how much a participant contributes to a meeting versus performing other tasks, e.g. texting, checking emails, or browsing the internet. So it's basically now using all these sensors and its data to find out whether you're actually paying attention or you're actually sitting in the meeting and you're just actually surfing through the internet on your phone or texting your mates or something. So that is what is coming to a meeting near you.
So this really starts with being aware of how your organization works.
So that's what's coming to a meeting near you, Donnie. What do you reckon? Is that something you're keen for?
Well, I think it's crap of shit, JT. As a leader of I've got a small team of people that I work with, and you know what? If I can't read the play and engage that group and get them to contribute, then I shouldn't be bloody leading the group. If I need some Donkey Kong tool to tell me what's happening in the room, then you know what? Maybe this will be awesome for people that are visually impaired and they can't see or they can't hear or they've got no comprehension of, but apart from that, mate, I just think it's some flog trying to justify his existence in the IT because Y2K's gone. So there's nothing to scare people about, so they give this crap a run. Nah, ditch it.
Yep, I'm with you. Don't like it at all. And good to see some of the comments coming through. I think you got a lot of support on that one too, Donnie. So Microsoft, piss off with that technology. We don't want it. I think is the message loud and clear. Now, this is where, Donnie, I get very excited. I get my hand on the mute button, and because this is where we throw it all over to you. Donnie's pick of the week.
Oh, JT, now, you don't have to be Einstein to know that I have, and I've said it on multiple occasions, I have two non-negotiables, and that is abuse to women and abuse to children. I will cross a road to intervene, even though it may have absolutely nothing to do with me. However, when I see that, I've always been a believer that the behaviour you walk past is the behaviour you accept. What I've absolutely been delighted about and almost stood up and sang the Pakistani national anthem, except I don't know it, was when I seen Imran Khan, the former legendary cricketer who is now the PM of Pakistan, who has recently changed or accepted the fact that there's going to be law changes against rapists and pedophiles in Pakistan. And as soon as I hear that, I think to myself, you bloody ripper, somebody's making a stand, somebody in a position to be able to have an influence, not just a couple of mouthpieces in a podcast like you and I, JT, have got an opinion and happy to share it, but somebody in a political position. And so much so that this the stand and the new laws, the critical ordinance that they've brought in, which is going to create a law, will mean that rapists and pedophiles will be chemically castrated. So they're basically going to be injected, so that because the belief is that it's a problem that they can't control, so they're taking a stand and saying, well, if you're going to do that, this is going to be your punishment. And given Pakistan have a big problem, they do. It's not a secret, and they've had some high profile cases where there's been rapes and gang rapes and abuse to children. And enough's enough, and they're putting down their foot and making it a law. So I could not be happier when I read stuff like that. I think to myself that, Pakistan typically, they don't rate highly on the, around the world in terms of how they've looked after their women and children on the gender gap index on the World Economic Forum. But I tell you what, they're ranked 151 out of 153. So it's not good, only behind Iraq and Yemen. So, mate, the fact that they're making this stand says to me that it pushes them right up the list and says that is good. And I hope other countries take note of that and say, stop making excuses and start calling bullshit on bullshit and doing something about it. So, JT, that is my thing. I hopefully haven't been muted this week, because that is something that the world should hear, that Pakistan is making a great decision.
Mate, absolutely. Very, very well said. Well researched, Donnie. I reckon that is almost your best one yet, mate. You've pulled one out of the bag. I love it.
There you go, mate. Stick in there. Righto, what have you got for me, JT?
Mate, that's bloody hard to follow, that one, Donnie. I'm feeling a little bit of pressure.
JT's Pick of the Week.
Well, Donnie, I wanted to talk about something that's really not just, a bit out of the blue, but I thought it was actually a good opportunity for us to have a bit of a discussion, because I know you had a big week up in Sydney, getting your new leg fitted, mate. I know it's been a long time coming. So our first question to you in my segment is, how is the new leg?
Well, mate, it's what's interesting, JT, this is where everyone's got a COVID story? Well, this is mine. So right before lockdown, I went to Sydney and I got a new leg started. And what happens when you get a leg is they take a cast of your leg and they create a socket, and then with that socket, it's called a test socket, and you go away for a couple of weeks, and then you come back and you say, oh, it's a little bit sore here, can we just modify that? And they just laminate it up and give you the end result. Yep. Unfortunately for me, I walked away with the test socket, went into lockdown, and then, of course, like most people, drank and ate way too much during lockdown and just chubbied up. And so my test socket ended up causing me a lot of pain. Yep. It didn't fit anymore. So I've gone up and we started a new one. So my trip so far has been great. I'm going back with the beautiful bride in a couple of weeks, and we'll get it finished off before I've had a chance to chubby up anymore. So, mate, so far so good. A good week.
Good incentive to not chubby up, mate.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that's the nature of, and what a lot of people don't understand is with the prosthetics is that it is absolutely a big impact if you do lose weight or put on weight, right? Because, for the rest of us, we go, oh, shit, I might have to buy an extra large or XXL instead. But for you, it's, I need a new body part.
Yeah, that's right, JT. And I think for me, when I think about body part, I think to myself, mate, if it's just replacing a leg, I'm lucky, because I know for you, for example, you've been going through the wars, but for you to replace something or have things change, you've bloody got to have surgery. Mate, I have a phobia of needles. So the thought of having surgery scares the crap out of me. But I know you've got, you had an MRI, I've seen it in your last week. We were going to talk about it last week and we missed it. So tell me, what's the outcome?
Yeah, so for me, I've been battling for probably about 4 years, I think. I was lucky enough to keep playing footy up until sort of 43, 44, I think it was. And unfortunately, one day, I copped a bit of a knock in my neck. And at that point, we had scans then, and I was pretty much told that's the end of your sport at that moment. Literally, you retire instantly. And given the damage to my neck, I was not able to go to the gym, do any exercise or whatever. It was like it painted a pretty grim picture. And for me, who's always played sport my whole life and my whole career. I was like pretty gutted by it, and but being me, I sort of managed to work my way back into some reasonable shape, and I did take a couple of months off at the time, but then just slowly started getting back into things. But over the last sort of 3, 4, 5, 6 months, I've just been getting some cracking headaches and neck pain and all this sort of stuff, even when I'm not doing anything. And previously I knew I was pushing it a bit too hard and I'd back off and everything had settled down, but it was just getting worse and worse. I had an MRI done last week and it sort of confirmed, I guess, what the inevitable was going to happen, and it's beyond the point of no return at this stage. So I need a full disc replacement in my neck. So not ideal at 48 years old. But anyway, the good news is the prognosis is normally pretty good when they do it. You're out of action for a little bit, obviously, but then hopefully you won't need another bit. They literally take out the old disc that's stuffed and put it in with a fake disc, essentially. Once it all settles down, you should be good to go.
Well, JT, you know what? When you first told me that story, this is how shit a mate I am, because I was talking about making a comeback and playing a bit of Masters, and you told me about your neck, and I said, "Suck it up, princess, come and play with me. We'll need a ruckman." So, and now you're telling me they're going to replace a disc. I feel like a real bastard.
No, I'm still keen. Don't worry, I haven't given up yet. So I might need to take a couple of weeks off just to rest up. But so I'm meeting with a surgeon on Thursday, so we'll find out sort of dates and all that sort of stuff then. So I'm not sure, to be honest, whether it'll be, as soon as possible or not. But what the trigger was, without getting too dramatic, is I've started to lose a feeling in my thumbs. So and that was one of the sure signs that you're getting some serious damage now, and the bone's collapsing onto the nerves. It's only going to get worse. So if they don't relieve that pressure, ultimately I'll lose all sensation in my thumbs, which is not ideal. So it needs to be done sooner than later. So if they can do it in the next couple of weeks, obviously I'm in. If it's after Christmas or whatever, so be it. So either way, it's going to get done.
JT, I love it when I hear about people just like losing sensation in thumbs, because I think to myself, mate, if you have a look at that thing that I call a thumb, I go, "Oh, suck it up, princess." But no, I mean, all seriousness though, it's a hell of an operation, and the chat's lit up. People are genuinely sending their love. It's not bloody good that you're in any pain. It's never good when anyone's in pain. But obviously I speak on behalf of a lot of people when I say we hope you have a speedy recovery. And when I say we, as in me, because we've got a podcast to do, so you better get that shit sorted real quick.
I know, mate. I might need a week off for that one. We'll learn more when I meet with the surgeon, obviously, on Thursday around recovery times and all that sort of stuff. So for now...
Tell me, JT, like I've had a lot of operations, and some like the open heart, like they come in from the back and there's a little scar on my back, and I've had some keyhole surgeries that just pop in there and work their magic and get out again. Yep. What happens with you? Like your neck's a bit of a feature.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to stuff it up, would you? So they actually go through the front, believe it or not, for this operation. So I'll have a nice little scar at the front of my neck, but apparently it's only a few centimetres, so it is done through keyhole essentially. So it's all done through there, and hopefully it'll heal up and we'll all be good. So I'll learn more again when I meet with the surgeon on Thursday. But for now, that's sort of the advice I've been given. And as I said, the rehab is actually, from what I understand at this point, is actually pretty good. You're only in hospital for a couple of days, and then obviously you've got some rehab and recovery to do beyond that. But it's amazing what they can do these days with keyhole surgery and that sort of stuff. So anyway, enough of me crapping on.
If you need to have a tracheotomy later on in life, you just use the same
hole. That's exactly right. But the one thing I wanted to just, and I'm happy to share this with our listeners as I go through this, is just the extraordinary bullshit that is our health system, and public versus private, and the out-of-pocket costs that you are going to wear for going private. Now, I've got private health insurance, and the people that do this
so much.
Well, the people that do this are neurosurgeons, right? So they're at the top of the food chain in terms of surgeons. So just my initial consult, which is next week, which will probably be a 20-minute chat, out of pocket $350 just for the 20-minute chat, let alone the surgery and the anaesthetists. And so we might be starting a GoFundMe page soon to help pay for my bloody surgery.
I'll tell you what, here's how we can do this, right? First things first, we'll get the money whisperer in. I'm pretty sure he'll give some advice how to get through this. First thing, ditch the anaesthetist. You don't need that.
Yeah, a few scotches.
Do it the old way.
It'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. So we'll keep everyone posted. So anyway, that was my news for this week, and we'll keep you posted on that. And now we want to get into Donnie. It's our bizarre news segment, and I love this stuff.
What have we we go.
Bizarre news stories.
Now, the first story is, well, obviously the great soccer player Maradona passed away during the week, which is obviously very tragic. He was only quite young, and there's been obviously sadness right across Argentina and the wider community, obviously, given how much of an icon he was in the sport. But there was 3 funeral workers, Donnie, and you never like how this story is going to go. Maradona, 3 funeral workers. What do you reckon they did, Don?
Mate, I've got a tenner that says they took a selfie.
Of course they did.
But JT, like, you don't understand. This is Maradona. Like, this is the last time you're going to get a chance to get a selfie, JT.
You just got to wonder about the intelligence of some people. Now, look, I get that if you're a funeral home, you go, hey, what's a self? What's a little selfie? Who's going to know, right? But
did they post it? They didn't post it.
Of course they freaking did, Donnie. Like, I mean, seriously, are you that dumb?
Yeah, well, they are.
Yeah, so clearly are.
It's one thing getting a selfie. There's another. You know what? We've always said that the greatest danger to reputation is a camera. It's not actually your behaviour. It's what bloody gets caught. And these dicks have gone and taken... Oh, no, JT. And so that would have gone okay. People would have loved it, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah. Well, if you think of love as in death threats and, they name it, yeah, they loved it. Obviously, a lot of people felt that it was, let's just say, fairly inappropriate. Now, I've seen the photo. It has been removed from the internet fairly rapidly, but I have actually seen the photo, and I'm not going to share it because I just think it's inappropriate.
Thank you.
But you just got to wonder about the intelligence of some people to do that shit, don't you?
You know what? It's a different thing, isn't it, when you think about having maybe an open casket or something that's intimate. But death is one of those things that honestly, I just don't think you stuff around with it. Like the respect that, and given this guy is clearly God on so many levels, and I reckon I wouldn't be surprised if that selfie is, winds up the last ones they take, to be honest, because people will not take that too well.
No, they really didn't. But on to something a bit lighter, Donnie. I want to just play this little video, and I'll talk through it for those who can see it. But this is out in southeastern Utah, and they've come across this metal object. Now, it's about 4 meters high. It's just in the middle of the desert. So you can see how big it is there with a couple of people just walking around it. Now, people are going, what the hell is this big metal object doing in the middle of the desert? Which is a fair question to ask. Now, I want to rule out straight away, it is not of alien origin. So it's clearly a man-made object, but no one knows why it's there, what it's doing there. It was found by helicopter. They just saw something reflecting, and the surveillance team were going, what the hell is that? And they went in and had a look, and sure enough, here's this big shiny metal thing.
Wow. And so has anyone got to the bottom of it? Like, is it a time?
Not at this stage. But what's interesting, they haven't revealed the exact location because obviously they don't want people there trying to get there and then getting lost and having to rescue them. So they're not saying where it is. But I love how authority just have to stamp their stuff over this, Don, because the US Bureau of Land Management is investigating how long it's been there, who might have done it, blah, blah, blah. But they issued a reminder on Twitter, Donnie, and said, using, occupying or developing the public lands or their resources without a required authorization is illegal, no matter which planet you're from.
You know, we talked about some flock justifying their existence before,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, they are.
Example.
Exactly right. You go, really? Did you have to? Okay, you try to make it a bit funny no matter which planet you're from, but come on, guys, seriously.
Yeah.
We just got a funny message there from Sarah, one of our listeners, who just said that Trump tweeted something along the lines of, he was very sad to hear of Maradona's death and that he listened to her music in the 80s.
Oh, very good, Sarah. Even better, Trumpy. Well,
we like that one. Yeah, it's very good. Yep. All right, so we're going to go now. It's our chance, Donnie, to go back in time, and I like going back in time because we've always got some good stories about history when we do this, Don.
Oh, JT, of course we will have.
Now, I know you're wondering what I've got this week. Well, here it comes.
I'm very curious.
Once upon a time.
Now I'm going to start off with just something small, and I thought it was appropriate, Donnie, because you are donning the moustache very nicely there, and as are a lot of men that are helping raise some great awareness and support. You like it? Yeah, I didn't and I didn't even know I did. I had it scripted and everything. But I want to bring you a photo of a very special cup. This is a true story. This is from the Victorian era, so back in the day, and this is actually a moustache cup.
Oh.
So what it was there to protect the moustache. Yeah, so you could have a drink and you could protect the moustache. What do you reckon? Well, you need one, Donnie.
I wouldn't have thought so. I don't know if you could comfortably drink out of that, JT. Like if you're a pilot, like you'd fly around the top of it and have a look where to land. But I don't know, like that. Is it just a gimmicky thing, or people actually genuinely use them?
They genuinely used them because they didn't want to get coffee or froth or whatever in on their on their moustache.
Oh, it makes good sense because I do this one. This is my thinking man's pose all week. I've been doing this. It's like I haven't done any thinking, but I figure this is going next week. So soon I'm going to need a cup with a bloody handlebars on it. Miranda, there you go. That's quality right there. A straw would be easier. You know what? That is why she's one of our multiple winners. She's just smart, that Miranda.
Now, the other bit in history I want to bring back is a little story about this bloke here.
Oh, that looks like Morgan Freeman. Well, the name's there, Morgan Freeman. I should have just looked down a little bit. Born
1st of June 1937. It is Morgan Freeman, but I just thought this was quite an interesting story. So back in colonial America, slaves could win their freedom through lawsuits. And although there was a low chance of succeeding, winning in court meant that the slave was now a citizen. But since slaves often didn't have last names, and you needed a last name to be a citizen, they were often just given the last name of, you guessed it, Freeman.
So, JT, is that how Morgan?
That is a true story. So I actually did some bit of research back in his history, and his great grandfather and grandmother and everything were slaves. So that's how it originated. So there you go. That's where the name Freeman came from.
That is bloody awesome. Reminds me that I'll tell you another story about surnames from the Indian tribes one other time, JT.
Oh, I was going to say I was just about to get my finger on the censor button. Oh God, what could go wrong here, right? It's
hey, JT, and tell you what, I just challenge you right here and now. Give me a better narrator's voice than Morgan Freeman.
Oh, isn't it? I love his voice. He could do anything, and we've had him on the show before, obviously commentating on some stuff. He could commentate everything. Him and of course, what's the guy who does it? Yeah, David Attenborough. They're obviously just the two that just seem to nail it, don't they? Every single time, right?
Yeah, just beautiful tones. Just listen to him all day. Yeah.
Now, Donnie, I'm going to throw the mic over to you, mate, because this is our segment for All Things Down Under.
You bloody mongrel!
Righto, JT. I tell you what, you hit it on the head before when you said I'd been in Sydney all week. The one thing you can't do when you go to Sydney to get a new leg is you can't not see the bloody Opera House and the Harbour Bridge.
Tends to stand out a little bit.
It's a bloody eyesore. No, it's not. It's beautiful, and I mean you sneak. That's why I always book the window seat, JT, on the chance that I could just have a little sneaky look. And I must admit, before what was that, September 11, before things all changed, there was a great time. I jumped on a plane, and the pilot said, "Hey mate, you want to sit up the front?" And the only time I ever got to do that, we flew in. We took off over Sydney. And without doubt, the best views I've ever seen in my entire life was from the cockpit over Sydney. Now, I wasn't flying, I was just a guest, and it was bloody fantastic. There was a few Paralympians got on early, and so it was a bit of a free kick. I saw the bridge, and honestly, I mean, it's got the nickname, the coat hanger. It looks a bit like that shape, and they light it up at New Year's at bloody more fireworks than you could possibly poke a stick at, but it's beautiful. And I thought I'll do a bit of research on the bridge and I'll find out a bit about it, because we spoke, of course, about the Westgate Bridge and the anniversary, the 50th year anniversary of that a few weeks back. And so I figured that on that note, I'll have a bit of a squiz at the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Now, JT, in 1926, the bridge began construction. How long do you reckon it took, JT? When do you reckon it was finished?
It was a fair building. So, I don't know, it would have been, 10, 20 years maybe?
Well, the foundations were started in 1926, and the actual construction began, the arches began in 1929. And it was built in halves. And, JT, if you've been to Sydney, you'll know the Luna Park. Well, that's where it was built. It was actually constructed there.
Right.
And then they put it together and built it on site. So it's bloody impressive. And it was all wrapped up on the 19th of March, 1932. And, JT, I want you to have a bit of a stab at this. In those days, we were still, it was a bit expensive to build a bridge. What do you reckon it cost?
Oh, geez, have a stab. Back in those days, obviously with inflation and God knows what, I don't know, mate, 20 mil back then? I don't know. No, probably more than that. 50 mil maybe? I don't know. Well,
13.5 mil. That's all.
Oh, wow.
Just a lazy 13.5. So that's probably pretty cheap, I suppose.
Yeah.
Bridges stuff. And what about this, JT? The real bit I like about this was that it was paid off. So when we think of investments and paying for themselves, in 1988 it was all wrapped up. And the initial toll for a car was 6 pence, which is 5 cents. And a horse and a rider was 3 pence, so 2 cents. So you can't even use those bloody denominations nowadays. So, mate, pretty impressive. And they still use the tunnel or the cost to cross the bridge. It's $3, and they're now using that to build the tunnel, or they use that for built the tunnel, and it's bloody impressive. More than 150,000 vehicles cross the bridge every day, and up until that was built, the only way you could get over to the north side was either a ferry, or there was a 12 bridge crossing like further up the river. So, mate, pretty impressive structure. And honestly, JT, if you haven't done it, and I can't recall if you have, but if you haven't, it's well worth the climb. It's a beautiful view any time of day. I went along there, and the first time I went there, I got the old, geez, he's a disabled man, wants to jump up the bridge. And then by the time I'd sort of discussed that I reckon I was okay and could pass the test, I had photos signed on the wall saying, we had Don Elgin climb the bridge. So anyway, it was I must admit, I think one of the things that most people around the world would know, apart from New Year's Eve, was, of course, Mick Dundee from Paul Hogan. Of course, he was an original painter.
He was, yes. Painter. Nat just commented then before as well, absolutely. And went on to bigger and better things. I've actually got a photo, Donnie, of the bridge as it was being built. So here's a very famous photo. There you go. That was just before they, just before they joined the Archers and put the road and everything down. But that was 1930, July 1930.
Mate, I tell you what, those crane drivers, you want to have balls of steel, wouldn't you, have been up there? Because you just get a bit, that's pretty bloody high, JT. So, well, that's good, mate. So there you go. That's Down Under for this week, mate.
Mate, very good segment, Donnie. You've pulled one out of the bag tonight, mate. You need to go away to Sydney more often. This is incredible.
Funny you mentioned that, JT. I'll be back in a couple of weeks. Get his little fat leg finished.
There we go. I'm looking forward to some more Sydney stories. Now, Donnie, this is a story that is just unbelievable, to be quite honest. And I'm not going to do it justice, I know. But there was a teen in the United States has literally defied all odds by surviving a horrific forklift accident. And he literally required the lower half of his body to be amputated. So he was driving across a bridge and he veered off, plummeted 15 metres down and was pinned to the ground beneath the 4-ton vehicle. And he recalls being conscious the entire time as he looked down, and this is a bit graphic, but I'm not showing you anything here. But he said he looked down and remembers seeing that his right arm had exploded and everything below his hips was completely squashed. And they made a very brave decision, and he was conscious, to let medics perform what is called a hemocorporectomy. That's something you never want, where everything below his waist was amputated to save his life.
Oh, mate, that's at some point you ask yourself, what sort of life am I going to have? And I'm watching it literally just being amputated right now, knowing that it's all going to change. That's incredible, JT.
It's incredible. And he was told, doctors told his girlfriend that he wouldn't survive. She said goodbye to him 6 times, and they just didn't think he was literally going to pull through. But the good news is, Donnie, he did pull through, and they've been together for 18 months and actually got engaged earlier this year. So it's a great story in terms of the couple. I'm going to put a photo up here, and if you're a bit squeamish, look away. But this is not at the accident. This is post the accident. But I just want to show you how amazing this guy is. So here's a photo of Lauren. He's only 18 or 19, I should say. And you can see there in the photo on the left how he's literally had no legs, has been removed at the waist. He lost his right arm as well below the elbow, and luckily he was able to hang on to his left hand, and you can see him doing the rehab there on the right, where he's got a fake arm now, and a huge amount of rehab. So it's pretty much just an incredible story, and they're now documenting it on they've got a YouTube channel, I should say. So him and his girlfriend, it's called Sabia and Lauren, Loren, the YouTube channel. So if you're interested in learning more and listening and getting a little bit inspired, I think, to be honest, because just when you think you're having a rough day, just think of someone like this who, his life just literally changed in that moment, and yet he's still, still out there having a crack and doing everything. So just amazing, right?
You'd love that, don't you, JT? And it just really comes down to, our true strength as humans is not in our body parts, mate. It's what goes on between our ears, and it's bloody awesome when people harness that and they're able to deal with whatever is thrown their way, bloody amputations, anything at all. And I mean, clearly looking at that guy, you'd just go, mate, every right just to say goodbye one of those 6 times and check out. But I'm pretty sure if I look close enough, there was a bit of a smirk on his face. So, he's not there lying in self-pity. So bloody good on him, JT. That's a cracking find. Well played.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely definitely worthy of a shout out. And as I said, jump on his YouTube channel. It's just quite incredible. He's actually filmed a lot of his, his journey or his rehab, etc. And just to see what he's going through. And you would know this, Donnie, as well, about the phantom pain around, pain in his legs that aren't there, and how they're trying to deal with that, and a whole bunch of stuff, let alone obviously all the psychological, trauma, I guess, of going through something like that. Just amazing the strength of character for someone that was just thrust upon a 19-year-old, and how he's responded to it. It's pretty incredible. And
a huge shout out to his girlfriend too. That's the sort of stuff, mate, when people, it's not her hurdle, but it bloody is now, because there is no doubt in my mind that her life is largely going to be altered. Her destination, is all with him now. So that's bloody great. Good on.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And you get to see and hear and learn a bit from her on their channel as well. So honestly, I definitely encourage you to tune in. All right, now for something, of course, we need something, Donnie, just to put a bit of a smile on our dial.
Dad joke of the week.
Now, JT, I have to ask, after the Pope come to dinner, I always ask this same question. Do the kiddies have to go for some milk? Where's the joke radar?
Donnie, we are very firmly in safe kiddie zone tonight.
Oh, yeah. So hang around, kids.
We're all good. We are all good. There's nothing to worry about here at all. Although I do just want to say, I'm just going to start off with just want a bit of a quick one, Donnie, of course. But a turtle is crossing the road and he gets mugged by 2 snails. So again, a turtle is crossing the road when he gets mugged by 2 snails. And when the police show up, they say, well, mate, what happened? And the shaken turtle replies and goes, oh, I don't know. It just happened so fast. Oh, there's a classic. There's a classic dad,
take
right?
That, try it on your mates at school. That's a dad joke.
Yeah. Now, a blind man visits Texas, and you know what Texas is, mate. Everything is big in Texas, Donnie.
Oh, it's big, mate.
Yeah, so he gets to his hotel room and he feels the bed, and he's like, "Wow, this is so big," And the bellhop, the porter goes, "Yeah, everything's big in Texas, mate." And he's like, "Wow." So the blind man heads downstairs to the bar and he settles into a huge bar stool. And he orders a beer. And the mug is placed between his hands. And he's like, wow, these drinks are so big. And the bartender replies, well, yep, everything's big in Texas. So after downing a few, the blind man says, well, mate, where's the bathroom? And the bartender says, oh, it's second door to the right. So the blind man heads for the bathroom, but accidentally enters the third door. Yeah. Now, the third door leads to the swimming pool, Don, and he falls in.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I know. Now, popping his head up from under the water, he's flailing his arms around, he shouts, don't flush! Don't flush!
Everything's so big.
That's right.
One, JT.
Like
I like that. Yeah.
Now, I have to leave you with one more, Don, because I want to talk about monks. More? Yeah, one more. I know, third bonus, because I love our friends in Thailand and we love the monks over there, although a controversial story that we'll have more on next week about the monks, so stay tuned for that one. Every 10 years, Don, the monks in the monastery are allowed to break their vow of silence to speak 2 words. So 10 years go by and it's one monk's first chance. And he thinks for a second before saying, food bad. Fair enough. Made a statement, got his 2 words out, put a lot of thought in that.
Time to think about it.
That's right. Well, 10 years later, Donnie, he says, big day, he arrives again. He says, bed hard. Fair enough. Yeah, food's bad, bed's hard. Anyway, big day comes around. It's a decade later. And he gives the head monk a long stare. And he just comes out with the 2 words and he says, I quit. The head monk says, oh, I'm not bloody surprised. You've been complaining ever since you got here.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I thought...
Are they getting worse or better? I'm not really sure.
We'll let the listeners tell us, JT. It's not my place. They'll tell us.
Well, we love putting a smile on the dial of everyone. So hopefully that's done that for you. Now, of course, we've got a couple of segments to go. We've got the Money Whisperer who's going to give us a hot tip now. We've got a very funny media watch coming up as well. Dickhead of the week might get a little bit of a run.
Ooh.
And then, of course, Donnie, you got a fantastic final thing that I'm looking forward to getting a bit of motivation into the people again. So anyway, let's give everyone a hot tip with the money.
G'day guys, it's the Money Whisperer here with your weekly update on all things money and finance. We've spoken a lot about the property market in the last few weeks, and all the signs continue to point to a big property boom the next 18 to 24 months. The Victorian government's reduced stamp duty up to $1 million purchases, which is interesting. The results from the auctions yesterday already suggest that people are spending more to save that extra stamp duty because it's basically giving them a free kick to pay higher for prices. So for property owners, that's basically free money in terms of equity. So if you're looking to downgrade in the next couple of years, then it's probably best to wait 18 months or so, and then you're likely to get a very good premium on your property. After that, we could be in for some trouble, but next 18 months to 24 months, very, very positive about the Australian property market, especially with responsible lending rules likely to ease up in March, which has been a big block for people accessing funds. I spoke briefly about cryptocurrency in the past. I'm a massive believer that it's the future. If you've had a kid in the last year or two and you've been given money to put away or put in the bank or whatever, you could do a lot worse. Instead of taking 0.5% interest, whatever it is, just buy some Bitcoin, put away the code in a drawer until the kid turns 21 and then hand it over, and they may well be able to buy a house with it. It could go to anything. Anyway, all good, and I will speak to you next week. Cheers.
He's always got some great tips, Donnie. And, well, you and I have had a bit of a dabble in the old cryptocurrency, Donnie. How are we going? Are we loaded?
Well, mate, I like the Money Whisperer's advice. Give it 21 years, we might be doing okay. Because we've sort of had a bit of we're enjoying the roller coaster that is crypto, JT.
We are. We've actually rallied back, Donnie. I don't know if you had a look last week, but we're back in business, mate. That's all you need to know. And Bitcoin actually hit its highest ever Australian rate, and I kid you not, it was down to $6,000 Australian back in March, and it was at $25,000 last week.
Sorry, JT, run that by me again.
It was worth $6,000 back in March, and it was $25,000 last week. So if you'd bought one for $6,000 in March, or half of one, or whatever it was, doesn't really matter. It's gone from $6,000 to $25,000 since March.
Happy days, JT. That's just, you know what? I'm a bit excited. I haven't been checking my cryptocurrency. I've not looked at the portfolio because I was sort of in that bit of a things aren't really flying for me, so I'll just put it down and walk away.
There we go.
I might go back and have a look.
Yeah, you might just want to have a look, Donny. I'm thankful it's going to pay for my upcoming surgery, I think. So happy days. Now, we're not going to talk about Dickhead of the Week tonight, but I'm going to give you a heads up because we're already running too late. So, but we are going to be talking about Pete Evans next week. I've got a lot to say about Pete Evans, and obviously a lot happening with Pete, but I've sort of dug a little bit deeper as I like to do. So I'll have that all that information next week. What I want to give people now is just another bit of a laugh because, well, Donny, this is when we get into our Media Watch segment. Now, you know, with Media Watch, here's the logo. Yeah, we just love trying to find some funny clips of stuff going on. Now, admittedly, this is a bit of a visual, but it's a quick one. And, well, you know, timing is everything, Donny, in comedy. And timing is everything in life. And, Donny, I know you love your Christmas lights. And it's a big moment, isn't it, Don, when you invite everyone around and go, this is a big reveal. I'm going to put the switch on and boom, up the lights come. And, well, you know, when you do that in public, Don, it's a big deal. You know, you got the big plunger and you want to push it down and the lights come on and it's all very spectacular, isn't it, Don?
Yes, it is.
Yes, well, let's...
2 days away, JT.
Let's just have a look how this one went, Donny.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They had one job, Donny, just one job.
Yes. Yeah. So again, if you're listening to the podcast and you haven't seen, it's probably, I don't know if you jump back on to see a couple of dicks stuff that up. It's worth it. But hey JT, that did look pretty bloody good. Might give some ideas because I've started. I've got 2 days to get them smack all up, and this year my pledge to the punters of my surrounds is get past my house at some point because I think this year's been a shit year. I'm going to put on a hell of a display.
There we go. That's what we want to hear. And I'm sure for those that can't make it, that live interstate or overseas, we will bring some video to you guys on the, yes, and trust me, it'll be worth seeing. Donny, well, let's just say he's got Griswolds in his blood. So, yeah, it's always a great bloody show. Now, of course, we've got our big wheel coming up soon. But, Donny, I thought we'd give your people your final thing, mate. We love hearing a bit of inspiration for the week ahead.
Now, JT, right before I get into my final thing, I want to just give you this little piece. We've talked a lot about COVID and the impacts of people, and I had, with the good fortune of my sisters, being able to get up to my sister's place and surprise my mum over the weekend, and we have had just a couple of cracking days. And the reason it was so bloody special is because it just seemed like yesterday, but a long time ago, last probably couple of years, is mum was going through a fair whack of chemo and doing it pretty hard. And we were, you know, riding that roller coaster with her. As much as I say that, nobody does it as much as the person going through it. But to hear mum tell me over the weekend when we were face to face, hear her tell me that she's going in to get her knee sorted out. She had to ring her oncologist to find out about what sort of treatment she'll be going through. And they said, like in terms of her cancer medicines and stuff like that. And when he come back and said, mate, we're not expecting her to need any more treatment. She's in remission. So when you hear that sort of stuff, it just seriously turns a year on its head. As shit as it's been, in a heartbeat, my year was just turned into something awesome. So glad mum's in remission, and now she can have a little operation on her knee, get that sorted, and she'll be absolutely flying. And it brings me to this point about what do we do when we're hit with a setback. And the greatest thing that we can do, in my honest opinion, is to use that to our advantage. Now, it seems silly to say that we could use COVID to our advantage, but the truth is, right now we're in a situation that we don't have to go back to the old ways. We can forget about bouncing back. An opportunity right now is for us to bounce forward, to create the path that we want to use COVID as a line in the sand, lockdown as a line in the sand, and say, righto, from now on, I've not been this way. I've not been a hugger. I've not been somebody who's put my hand up and used my voice or been vocal, or I've not changed or charged into an an area that I want to work in, but right now, going forward, that's what I'm going to do. If COVID's given us one thing, it's reminded us that time can be taken away from us in a heartbeat. So my advice is, when we get to reset, think about where you want to go, and instead of bouncing back, bounce forward. Tonight, and as of any time, we can change the direction of our life. And so my advice is, let's do it now. Let's use this time to head on a new path, if that's what you want to do with your life. Don't wait for a New Year's resolution. Do it tonight when you go to bed. Decide who you want to be and pursue it. So there it is. Our final fling is to don't bounce back, but bounce forward.
Great advice, as per usual, Donny. Mate, I love that, and I love it that we give you a forum to actually help others. And obviously you're a motivational speaker. You've been doing it for a long time, and I think some of your stories and the way you tell them are bloody awesome. And if we can get that message out to more people, then I'm happy that we're doing a bloody good job. So excellent advice, my friend. And it's come time for the big wheel spin. Now this will be interesting because I didn't queue up the screen, so just bear with me. There we go. Actually got it right for once. We've got everyone loaded in, mate. So I'm just going to click over here. Good luck to everyone who is on the wheel, and we are clicking away.
Go. She's spinning, JT, and thank you so much for the people that have written in and said great news for Mum. It's fantastic. The wheel's going around.
It's going to be close. Benny, he's pitched. Sharon has just snatched it from Benny. Congratulations, Sharon. You've got yourself a $150 tradie.com voucher. So bloody awesome. Well done. And Donny, of course, we give you the responsibility of coming up with the best contributor for the night. So it's time to announce our winner for tonight, Donny. And before you do that, though, I like how I revealed that suspense. If you haven't already, make sure you guys get on and bloody like our page. So it's just GiddyUp Podcast on Facebook. And just make sure you like that page. Share it with your friends. That'd be awesome. And next week, if assuming I can work it out, we'll also be streaming live on YouTube as of next week as well. So live streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. So, hopefully gets us out to a bigger audience as well.
JT, that's bloody awesome. And are we saying right here and now that we'll be back on Sunday night next week, so that people will have an idea, or we'll work through that and we'll let you know when we know? Is that what we're saying?
Most likely to be Sunday, but if it's something different, we'll let you know.
Yeah, excellent. Right,
so who have you got, Donny? Who's the winner?
I was scanning long and hard through all the comments and all. There's been a few crackers there, and we love it when JT says something funny and there's a few laughs on there and stuff like that, which is great. But honestly, our contributor of the night goes to Sarah with her comment about the tweet from Trump about Maradona's music back in the 80s. So, Sarah, you are our winner of the Tom M voucher. So thank you, Sarah, for being a great trooper. Oh, there it is.
Well done, Sarah.
The comment right there. So well done. That's bloody great. See, it's awesome that you're paying attention and you bring that to the GiddyUp podcast. Well done.
It is absolutely bloody amazing. So, that's all we've got time for you tonight. You're not going to see my face anymore because I stuffed up the video, but you're there, Donny, and that's really all that matters. So thank you, everyone.
Have a great week. See you all next week. Take care.
I love a bit of GiddyUp.